If you can see my sunburn, simply just ignore it. But welcome back to my channel. It's Lexi here. Today I wanted to chat about some books I loved that I think are seriously underhyped and you should read. Now, I'm not gonna lie, all but two of these are young adult fantasies. So if young adult fantasy is not what you're reading right now, I don't know if this will be the video for you. I'm going to start with the two books that are not YA fantasy, and the first one would be The Love Elixir of Augusta Stern. This is a literary fiction where we're following Augusta Stern as she is in two timelines, her teenage years and her retirement years. And it just talks about some of the choices she made as a teenager and how they affect her adult retirement life. We are following her dad is a pharmacist, and her aunt who lives with her is like more natural remedy with herbs and soups and things like that. And she's kind of trying to figure out who her loyalty is with because she wants to go into pharmacology school. And it's just how the choices she made as that 17-year-old affected her life in her retirement years and kind of her story throughout that journey. It is really fun. I don't remember it being too emotional, so if you are not looking for an emotional book, this would be perfect, but it was a really eye-opening, interesting, fun read. Next, I have The Wedding People. This book, I went in with no expectations. I picked it up because I thought it was going to be a fast read for a readathon, and I actually really loved it. In this book, we're following Phoebe, and she has checked into a hotel, and she gets mistaken for a wedding guest as this big wedding party. They were supposed to book the whole hotel for the wedding guest and party, and she gets mistaken for one of the wedding people. And this book is just all about life's journey and meeting people along the way and relationships and just doing whatever makes you happy. And this book just really hit me in a way I didn't think it would, and I just don't see it talked about very much, and I think everyone should read this book. It is just so eye-opening and such a beautiful, vulnerable read. Now, let's get into my favorite genre, YA fantasy. First YA fantasy I'm going to recommend is Ash Princess by Lauren Sebastian. This is a completed trilogy, and I read this for the first time in college, and I absolutely loved it. It is such a great mix of fantasy and dystopian. There is plenty of dystopian aspects as well as still being like that magical fantasy that I think a lot of people really love right now. We are following Theodosia, who when she's 6 years old, her country and her mom are taken over and kept prisoner by these people that overtook her home, who she was princess for, and they call her the Ash Princess. They make her wear this ash crown that, embers get all over, and it is just one of the amazing trilogies that came out in the 2010s era that just talks about rebellion and all of that, and it is so good. I honestly haven't read the last book yet. I'm currently rereading this series so that I can read the last book and remember what's going on, but I just really love this book as a young adult, and it's an amazing read. Next, I have This Dark Descent. This is a completed duology. I only have a copy of the first one, but this book is so dark, and it gives Peaky Blinders, but it's so amazing. I had the most fun reading this book. This book, we are following Makira, who is an equestrian, and she rides horses in illegal horse races, and her dad gets sent to prison, and in order to get him out, she has to race in this deadly race horse competition that only comes once in a while. She has to reach out to a friend to enchant her horse, so there is fantasy magic in this book. There's trials when it comes to the races. This book is really unique because it does follow Jewish folklore, and it was very unique to read about. I would highly recommend this duology. Overall, it's a 4-star duology, so I highly recommend. Next, I have Silver in the Bone and Mirror of Beast. This is by Alexandria Bracken. I think overall I rated this duology a 3.5, and the only reason I'm saying that is I waited 2 years to read these two books, so by the time I got in the second one, I literally had no idea what was going on, and I DNF'd the second book. I just was so lost. I do want to reread these at some point. I think if I read them back to back, it would be a much higher rated series, which is why I'm still recommending it, because the first book, Silver in the Bone, was a 5-star read that absolutely blew me out of the water. In this book, we're following Tamsin, who is referred to as a hollower, which means she can sense where ancient relics are and help find them. her guardian who raised her and taught her everything her and her brother knows suddenly disappears with a ring that is very sought after. And in order to save her brother from a curse that I won't get into, she is to find the ring, and she ends up having to partner with her, guess what, enemy, of course. And it was just a fun, action-packed read. And her writing, although this is YA, feels very mature. So this was just an absolute gem of a book, and I cannot wait to reread the duology back to back, because I really think the only reason I didn't like the second book was because it was like literally a 2-year difference and I had no idea what was going on. Last underrated book I'm going to talk about is Garden of the Curse and Masquerade of the Heart. This is by Katie Rose Poole, and I just am absolutely obsessed with this duology. I had the most fun reading it. It is everything a romantasy should be, and it's so fast-paced and so amazing. I just think everyone should read this duology. In this book, we're following Marlowe, who is a renowned curse breaker, and little backstory, her mom disappears when she's a little bit younger, and so she's one of the best curse breakers in her little town, and her childhood best friend, who became enemy, seeks her out to help break a deadly curse that's been put on him, and she wants to help him to kind of get back at him for betraying her trust days, in the past. And as she's helping him break his curse, she's realizing his deadly curse might also be linked to her mom's disappearance. And it is just all about found family and romance and relationships, and it was just such a fun read. I literally read this book in one sitting and the second book in one sitting, and this is an overall 4.5 star read for me. I just absolutely adore this series. The underrated books I would recommend everyone to read. All of them are amazing in their own way, and I don't understand why they're not talked about on social media. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube things. Let me know down below what your favorite underrated book is, and I hope you guys all have a blessed Tuesday. Bye!